So next, what I want to do is start like figuring out some scans to help me out. Wait, that's not the image. This is the image. Yeah, this is my juicy image. Oh, by the way, and the texture that I've added in here, this is the same texture, right? So I'm figuring out, all right, I will need a scan in here, and I will need maybe some scan in the background, because I've placed something, and I might need some other scans as well. But for now, I want to focus on this one. Now I'm using scans, so I want to figure out this area, right? And I was looking at those references for some time. Those references combined with, first I was intrigued by this, right? By a structure that I couldn't figure out like how it's sent, right? And I was looking a bunch of industrial shit, because I decided I want to work with metal instead of a concrete, because I wanted for this structure to be hanging, right? So after some time, after some point, and sometimes already, because I've used so many scans, I kind of know what's on Sketchfab and what's not. So I created, oh, that's my other account. I have two accounts on Sketchfab because for some reason I can't buy some shit from my one account because of my credit card. I don't know. All I'm saying is I have two accounts on Sketchfab because there's something with processing payment on Sketchfab. So I created this collection of assets that I found useful for the sake of this tutorial. And if you find me, Kretka, on Sketchfab, maybe I'll send you the link. You should be able to access my collections of stuff that I found. Like, this is so cool. This is already so fucking cool. And sometimes you will you will want to search for something specific and you will not find it. But what I like to do is every now and then I'm just browsing through whatever is on Sketchfab in scans, and then I found pieces like this. Because if I were to type in like old machinery, I'm pretty sure I might not find this asset, because, well, it's Scotch boiler from PS Waverley, and the tags, yeah, the tags aren't here. So anyway, I'm going on Sketchfab and I'm going to be like, metal scan. And already on my first search, I found this. And there's a bunch of other stuff you can find in here. And I found a bunch of turbines as well. But I've noticed that shit was moved to Fab as I'm making this tutorial, and I've paid for this asset, or maybe it was downloaded for free. And the thing is, now I have to get it on Fab. And guess what? I think I've already paid for this asset. I'm not gonna pay for this asset again. I don't know if it's like a bug or I like some licensing shit, or maybe this asset was free on Sketchfab and now it's paid. I'm just gonna grab this asset because I got it already from like one of my another scenes. Fuck. But first I found this, and this is like so cool. There is like something holding something, and there's a bunch of something holding something. There's a bunch of bolts. So of course I got it. And I'm unpacking the sheet, and I'm just importing FBX. Oh, by the way, I don't know if it's like a feature where you can just drag and drop your assets into the scene in new Blender, but for previous versions of Blender, I was just using, there's an add-on called just drag and drop. You will find it on Blender Market. I don't have to go into file, import FBX, for example, because if you're importing like 10 scans, it will get pretty tedious. So this is either like a new feature of Blender where I can drag and drop, or if it's not, and I'm using, let's see. Oh, drag and drop. So I think I have the add-on. All right. And it's missing the texture. All right, let's find the texture. Now I want you to know this: every time you import a scan from Sketchfab, you want to check the texture sizes. You want to keep your textures like under, if it is like under like 10 megabytes, I would say I would include a video from the previous tutorial. I would want to say like, hey, if you want to know how to optimize your scene, you need to buy the previous tutorial. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna include the chapter from the previous tutorial in this tutorial as well. So what I want to import is the texture. All right, I got the texture. And now what I want to do is rid of those settings. Remove the EOR. All right. I know you can use like index of reflectivity, right? EOR to your advantage, and it's like this new feature, but I don't need it for now. Maybe I'm gonna use it in a different part. So I have this piece, and I'm figuring out, all right, maybe this piece will belong in here. And I'm noticing this piece is extremely dark, right? Maybe it should go like so, or maybe it should go like so. Like this can make sense, this can work, like this can be holding something, and those could be bolted into this. I'm just found this asset that I found useful, and I'm looking for a purpose to fit it in, and I know I need to increase the value of it, right? Because I want to match slightly the metal material, and of course, like this is a different texture, this is a different texture to certain amount. You won't be able to do this, right? But this already looks like it works. And then what I would do, if sometimes with scans, one side of the scan will have different type of lighting than the other side of the scan. Let's see. I mean, those I think are similar, but just in case, I want to show you this. Sometimes what I will do is just mirror one of the sides. God damn it, what the fuck happened? Right, so it looks unified. And also it gives you some variations from asset to asset. Now the way I've used this scan in a scene is just as you see in here. I'm gonna show you an example on the different scene. I've rearranged the beams. You will be able to see the structure of the beams, because instead of like one beam, I decided I want to have one pair, and then I want to have another pair, right? It should go into collection called scan beam. I don't know. I wanted to type it clamp, but I already have clamps. And then what I want to do is place this collection inside of my arms collection. It should be in wall. So now it's over here as well, and I can remove the box because I solved this problem. So what I've done in here is, it's not sitting well because I had those and this and this. And by the way, those shapes, those swooshy shapes, right? Like this rhythm. Let's just grab those beams. The way I've done them, I think I've said already, but I'm gonna show you one more time. Let's remove the old ones. Oh, so this is too, oh, fuck it, all right. So I'm just like grabbing, like, because, you know, that's why also I've asked you, let's not follow exact measurements, because whatever we're building the scene, like you see how this layout is already slightly different than what I have in here, right? But for now, I'm fine. Let's just copy this around. Let's just make this smaller, maybe, like so, for now. But I want to tell you what I've done with the beams and what I've done with the scan, right? So I've started cutting out smaller parts. This is like mirrored, right? So then what I've done is copy this sheet. I want to use as many pieces as I can from this single scan because it's so cool. And I really love this part. Right, so I just booleaned it. Like so. Then took this, like maybe can you reuse this one, but I don't want to do it for now. And then I'll just place it like so, right? Oh, it was actually mirrored, all right. Let's This is Sherry. Wait. And basically done this, right? But I think also I've cut a different part of the scan. Let me check. Where are you? Oh, I see. So I've done this, like so. Like so. Let's delete those loose edges, but I don't want to click them. So let's go into mesh, clean up, delete loose. And just done this, right? So I just created another piece out of one scan. And I just bolted it in, like so, because I really love this shape. So I don't know if I should, like, if this is, I hope this is, like, I'm clear enough. Because then what I've done is, all I needed to figure out is how to connect this to this wall. So I created a cylinder because I really want to establish a connection, like visual connection, right? All right, those are like those blocks, right? And those are those huge blocks. I mean, those pistons or those holders, they're added to this block. So it's just like I found a scan and I started figuring out, all right, how I can connect the scan with my models, right? So what I've done also, because I've seen this beam and I wanted to introduce like maybe some counterweight as well to the top. So I've added this block in here, and to me it feels like this is like connected to this somehow. I don't know if it makes sense, but if I see this line going up, I want to find an excuse on the other side to push the line. Right, and here's some other thing that I've done. I try not to use like VDBs in my scene, and instead I will use like smoke packs or smokes. And one of the smoke packs that I really like at this point, because the scene is a bit more refined, I'll be just jumping around and like saying you how I've done stuff and shit, right? Because at this point I'm feeling like, all right, I'm just like getting to a point where I'm just gonna be refining the image now. I feel like the light will work for now. I'm feeling like the composition will work. I'm feeling like the shapes are there, right? So now I'm just like figuring some small problems, and I'm trying to push more detail in, right? So the cable, like sure, I've modeled this cable, just a curve, and I just place it in here because I felt like it's like a huge contrast in here, and it's an excuse to add some flow, something flowy. Now what I wanted to show you is I've accumulated a lot of add-ons throughout the years, but I'm looking for something specific. And I don't use all of them, of course. I really like Ian Hubert's Steam Pack. But I'm not... it's not mandatory for this tutorial, because all I want to show you is... It's not even that visible, actually. I really like just using... what those Steam Packs are just basically movies of animated Steam on a plane, right? And I prefer to use those instead of like VDBs, and maybe I will place them in the background, or maybe like I had this different idea where I found a scan of a turbine. I'm gonna talk about another scan that I found about this turbine, right? And I've modeled this piece. I just wanted for this piece to be tall, and I wanted to introduce a card that's not in the middle, and I wanted maybe for it to be an air purifier. And just with the building, you know how to make it an air purifier to the viewer who's looking at this, because it's just gribble, right? But as soon as I add a decal, and the decal will say air purifier, it becomes an air purifier. And maybe I'll want for this air purifier a steam to come out. But I'm talking about the steam. I found it useful, but I don't think like I'm not asking you, hey, you need to buy this pack for $20. But I'm saying is sometimes those PNGs, they're so much better than than trying to use VDBs in your images, because VDBs, they eat a lot of performance, and because I've added them, I want to add them to collections team. And the way I want to do it, for example, maybe there will be a column of air purifier and it's letting out gas, right? And it's obvious, of course. So there is some steam visible. And then, of course, like, because those are PNGs, they're not affected by the light, meaning if you want to show your smoke, the backdrop, what behind the smoke needs to be darker in value, because if it's lighter in value, guess what? Your smoke will disappear, right? Because light value and light value. I don't know, like, I found them to be useful, but again, you don't need to do that. I won't be including them as well in my tutorial. I need to write it down. I need to write it down. Don't include Ian smokes or he gonna murder me. I don't think he will. But again, I'm not including those parts in my tutorial. So let's move on. Let's find the damn rocket. I'm sorry, the damn turbine that I've downloaded from Sketchfab, because I wanted for my sheet to look like turbine, and I wanted to start introducing some small details, some gribbly detail. But again, I need to establish my base first, right? All right, I'm gonna pause in here and find the damn asset. Oh, but I forgot to show you this. So let's imagine I don't have those shapes. And the transition in here could look way better, because what I'm looking again in here is I want to have like this swooshy shape. Let's remove this one because this is a leftover. Right, I really like this rhythm. So after I establish my beams and I've placed them either like on a normal curve, or either I've done this. Like, all right, I know one of the beams will start in here, and I know one of the beams gonna end up in here. I just grab a vertice. Whenever you're doing bevels, it's so much better to do bevels where the edges have like different angles, because this will do a boring bevel, right? It's just like a straight line and a bevel and a straight line. The beauty of bevels, or making your bevels look better, is not the bevel itself very often, it's what kind of shape you want to apply the bevel to, right? So I show you this, and then I've converted, grab this edge and just extracted it, right? With hard ops. Q, extract. And if I didn't extract it as a curve, because you can extract it with a curve while holding control, I can still convert it to a curve, right? So then I will apply this beam to this curve. And if I want to do those swooshy transitions, like, this is cool, but this is aggressive, and this is an opportunity for me to introduce some rhythms, some smoothness. I'll just do this. Come on. Scale it up. Maybe scale it up even more. Align it somehow. And what I will do, I will introduce one cylinder with more vertices. And I'm just gonna control minus, right? And then I'm gonna just duplicate the cylinder and do it over here the same. And what I'm looking for now is I'm just like trying to, you know, to move the cylinder in a way where it will be supporting the swoosh. And you might need to scale it up, scale it down, like fuck around with it a bit. And I'm just gonna apply material here, like so. And I want to do the same in here. Like, this is cool, I would say. Maybe this one is too much. So let me make it smaller. I'm just like fine tuning it right now, right? Let's say I'm happy with this. Okay, cool, let's remove. I've converted, instead of like going in here and applying every single modifier, apply, I hate clicking. Instead, I have it bound to my right mouse, convert to mesh, because it applies the modifiers. Like, every single solution you can find to save clicks, you do it, because at the end we are clicking like, I don't know, thousands of times. So, and those clicks will stack up because we are using modifiers a lot. And now what I want to do is clean up this shape a bit. So I'm gonna just delete this part. Oh, I can't. Now I'm kind of faking it, but that's fine. I'm only caring about what I see. I only care what I see in here. Like so. And now what I will do, I'll just isolate it. Maybe you can mirror it. And then I'm just gonna go into edit mode, press I, make it smaller, and then just extrude this trim. Right, because beams have like some trims and whatnot. So that's how I made this swooshy shape. But as you can see, like it's over exaggerated in here, and best way it would go like so. All right. Pam pam pam. And about VDBs, because I've mentioned VDBs, I sometimes use them, but if I want to move fast, like if my image is about, all right, we have a castle in the fucking clouds, in the result of clouds, and I need that volume to see the forms, then of course VDBs can be a solution too, but I'm always trying to be very careful, or if I were to use them, I will add VDBs just as a last finishing touches, and I will maybe use like some placeholder smokes instead, because whatever slows down your scene. Like you see me how I'm working, like I'm using low poly models and modeling stuff, and I'm already like 6 million vertices in. So after I will be done with the pass, of course I will start decimating stuff. But for me, like this is cool, this is fast. I can iterate on this scene quickly, and I can iterate in rendered mode now, right? But if I were to work with VDBs, like my scene will fucking chuck, and if your scene works slow, then you're done, you're fucked. All right, let's move on. Oh, I find the scan, the rocket thruster thruster turbine scan that I wanted to find, that I wanted to show you. Now, also, I know that I've showed you how, I had this problem, right? And how quickly I found the scan to solve this problem. This is how quick the solutions can be. And I'm not saying that because so many times I'm looking for solutions and I can't find anything in the internet, so I had to end up figuring shit on my own. So that's the thing, of course. But I also want to say, if you're like somewhat more solution oriented, as in, you know, I can deal with this. I'm gonna check A source, B source, C source, D source, E source. There's a high chance you will find something to solve your problem, but you just need to be open to it, right? And again, I'm super familiar with what's on Sketchfab, because sometimes in the evening I'll just keep scrolling shit down, and I would like create collections. Oh, I might use this for like a medieval image if I'll be working on one. Oh, I might use this, I don't know, Mediterranean ruins, because at one time I might be working on them. So, right? So I'm also like trying to think ahead. Anyway, I found the turbine scan. I wanted to show you what I want to do. Pam pam pam, specularity 000. All right. So sometimes I will find those gribbly objects. And sometimes if I have like a lot of areas of rest in my image, I want to spruce some shit out, like add some shit, right? I was talking about this reference. Like if I have a lot of areas of calm, then for sure, whatever I'm doing, like I can introduce some gribbly stuff. So just this scan alone gives me a lot of cool stuff. Like I really love what's going on in here, and I really hate like how the sun is washing away the color. I really love this patch. I love it. And what I love also, let me just start cleaning this scan, because I don't need the ground part. I'm sorry, those steels, right? And let's clean it up. Mesh, clean up, delete loose. And also, if I imported it, I need to check the textures. Oh, okay, I will need to resize the textures later on, but sometimes I will just do, if I'm using Irfan view, Ctrl R resize. This texture doesn't need to be 8K. Let's remove it by half, and let's just save it. It's 2 megabytes. I'm super fine with 2 megabytes texture. And by the way, with a lot of the scans, I know they come with like roughness maps and normal maps, but I don't want to get distracted by it. And then I might want to decimate it, right? But it's fine, I can decimate it later. I want to show you what I can do with it. I'm just gonna copy it. I really want this part, so I'm just gonna keep dissecting this scan into smaller parts. I'm cutting into smaller parts that I will just find useful. And I don't use a lot of those parts in my image. Just wanted to show you in case. Like, one scan is so much more than the scan itself. Like, there is so much useful shit in here that you can use. And what I want to do, is cut it like so, because I really want this shape. Mesh, clean up, delete, vertex. Oh! Clean up, delete, loose. That's right. Now I want to do this, and I want to move it. The origin, the center of mass is in here, and I want it to be in here, so I'm going into edit mode and moving it down. I'm sorry, down, because I want the origin to be on top, and the reason why, because I want to straighten this mesh. Simply deform, bend. God damn it, really? Now you're not working where I need you to work. Let's rotate it in edit mode. Let's use different axes. Yeah, you tell me. The simple deforms aren't back. I had to rotate the mesh in edit mode in order to simply deform to work correctly. So I just straightened this mesh because I really want to. I really like what I like about this part is, well, it has this cool shape and it has a bunch of holes. Right, so this is where I will grab this piece, and I've placed it over here. Right, this is this piece, and the way I was placing those pieces is I didn't want for them to be evenly placed, right? I just was all right, never halves and those rules. So this one will do this one, those are closer, and this one is further away. So this is how I've used this piece in here. The other thing I think I haven't done, but what you can do is actually let's just copy it like so. You can place it on array. You can use simply deform this way. Bend z-axis. Of course, I have to rotate it in edit mode, which means I have to change my arrays. And let's do this. Bam, 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 bam. So I've just created a segment of something, right? So the way I look at a lot of the images when I'm designing, like huge, god damn it, I'm using poor designing so much. And I don't give a fuck. The way I look at buildings or structures is I like to divide them into segments. So this is one segment and it's doing something, right? And this is another segment that is doing something, and this is another segment that is doing something. So I might introduce the circular thing as another segment, but I'm not gonna do this for the sake of this tutorial, because I don't want to rely on the scans this much. But if you're struggling with ideas, or stuff is just difficult for you in general now to do, like, fuck me, instead of like modeling the stream, maybe you can just do this, right? Like, find a scan that's super cool and fine with you and looks cool. Now what I'm looking for in the scan already, I'm fine-tuned towards like finding overexposed parts in an image, meaning whitest white don't exist in nature, which means every scan you will see on the internet was taken in different lighting conditions, right? So already know I want to grab RGB curves and I want to move it down a bit to get rid of those highlights, right? So maybe the bottom part of my structure is just this, right? But I don't want to do it. I want to make more sense. Maybe it's like this coil on top, right? This might be cool. So every time I go to Sketchfab, I'm thinking already in those terms, like not only if this is cool or if this will be useful to me, But also, if like, can I cut this asset into tiny pieces and reuse it in a bunch of times, right? Oops. And sometimes I will find that this is a cool freestanding object you can place in your scene. It will add a bit to the to your story. And I just showed you on one example, but god damn it. Maybe this is too busy, but fuck me, you can cut this front part, right, and place it on something, and it has some function. And of course, you want to show indicate function through our through our images. But to me, like, I want for this to work, right? I want for this to make sense, and it doesn't matter that I can place something small in here that will just indicate function and standing there just to like push more detail in. I'm fine with it too. I think believe this can be used in so many cool ways. I love this. And I would think like maybe I would mirror it, maybe I'll cut out this part, maybe I'll just cut out this part, right? Like working with scans is so much more than just grabbing this at face value, thinking it will push your image. Of course, this will push your image. And by the way, if you're at some point, I like when someone says to me like, oh, it's just made out of a bunch of scans. Like, it's not, right? And the same happened with this image, for example, because of course there's like a bunch of scans in here, but guess what? This whole surface, those aren't scans. And someone tells me, oh, this is just a bunch of scans. I actually take it as a compliment, and I take it as a compliment because I'm able to mix scans with texture or whatever ideas I want to bring in. So, I don't know. So nice and fluently that someone just doesn't see the difference. So I take it as a compliment because I've done it so well. All right, so I started placing a bunch of shit on my scene, and I want to start placing some more shit on my scene, but I want to remove this one. I'm just giving you options. Like, you can do so much with single scans. And I want to show you, for example, this in solid mode. So I really wanted to start adding some smaller elements to this tube, and I found like this array of things quite, I don't know. I've done this one small clamp to hold this, right? So I've modeled this shit in here, and because I've modeled, I want to reuse it a bunch of times, right? And I just found this wall, this clamping. It wasn't clamp, it was like this bunker wall that had this exact same pattern. So I want to show you how I came up with ideas to like add this type of repetition onto my building. Where I just keep looking at stuff when I'm outside, right? And even those, like, we need of course we need some repetition in our design, of course, and we need like never halves as well, but the best way to do it is just mix them both, right? I've created those beams, and the way I've created them is just not a straight beam, right? It's a beam with a bit of a mass grade, but I'm not sure because those look a bit too thick. But still, I really prefer if sometimes there's a place to place straight beams, of course, or railings, but sometimes I feel so much better to make them just a touch wobbly, but not too wobbly. Right, what else? Oh yeah. I just grab this shape. Oh, my breakfast is cooking, I can smell it. And just done this, right? Because I wanted the shapes to radiate in and out. Pam pam pam. And by the way, those railings, right? I really want to indicate like they're being held by something. Like this is peak design to me. The sheet is hanging and the sheet needs to be attached to something, right? And I kind of want to show how this stuff is assembled, how it's being held. So there's a cylinder, and this goes into this under this. It visually makes sense, I hope. And I started drawing more cables, and this image isn't done yet. And then I wanted like a bunch of repeatable elements in here, so I've added a bunch of screens. Now the way I've done the screens is I just found, like, went into Google and typed in terminal airport. No, sorry. Oh yeah. You know, and I've found stuff like this, or train station screens. Right? You find something cool and you just steal it from the internet and you place it like so. And there is some setup in here that I was carrying over from a different project. Or I didn't. Oh yeah, there is. I found on YouTube how to do this dithering effect. Right? You see. And I'm just gonna leave the notes for you to see because I long forgot how to make it. Here's the thing, like you will be accumulating assets over the years, right? And back then I figured out how I've done this shit, and since then I was just copying around this setup to add to like different screens and whatnot, right? But I forgot how to make them. And guess what? I don't need to learn it because you can find it on YouTube too. All right, so here's when I'm gonna pause, or maybe I'm gonna bring some other. No, I'm gonna pause in here, and we're gonna be wrapping up the image soon, pretty soon.